Congratulations on the show.
Thank you very much.
The first thing that struck me was the amazing costumes in that first scene when you're having a nice little nice little boogie in that club. I have to say, some of the dress in that was fantastic. That, as an actor, that's part of the fun of make believe and dress up and everything else, that you get to do something like that. What was that day like? Because Barrington, I mean, he's dressed to the nines beautifully.
Yeah, he is, but it was also that it's that suit was made for me from scratch. So it wasn't an off the peg job. It is the poster shot suit, and it is as we refer to it, the Mr Loverman strides, and so it's just great wearing something that is made for your body. And I understand why, people who can spend money on tailored suits, because you can feel the difference. You just genuinely can feel it moves differently. It's you. It's all there. And if you've got a good tailor, which we have, it can make a huge difference. So yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say one of the joys of playing Barrington was getting to dress like Barrington.
I mean, he's a sharp man. I have to say, he's a very, very sharp man. He does me. It's one of those things when you see people, like you say. I remember watching How I Met Your Mother with Neil Patrick Harris, and the character always wears suits, and it's like a second, like it's just beautiful.
But it also it does so much for you in bringing that character to life, because
that was going to be my next question. Yeah,
how you walk in a suit, how you sit down in a suit, what items of what you do with your tie when you're eating. The fact he had a tie pin, and there were details that I'm not even sure the camera saw, but his cufflinks were engraved with his initial. The tie pin is engraved with his initials. They're all gold. It just informs who this man is. How he moves is for me. It was important. One of the things that I worked on quite early on was that at all points the suit looks good.
Yeah. So tell me about the lure of the project, because I know it was a book about 10 years ago that was a bit of a bestseller, and one of those where it's taken a bit of time to come to the screen. When did you get involved, and why did you feel like this was a character? Did you think this was a character you could play sort of now in your career, that you've done all these amazing parts, that now this one kind of like, yeah, I'm so informed that I can do this one now?
Yeah, to be honest, this was a part that I read the book about 6-8 years ago, and the moment I read it, I wanted to play Barrington. I'm sure there were loads of actors all over the place who, because as you say, it was a bit of a bestseller, and was certainly popular within the West Indian community, that it was. I think there would have been a long line of actors who read it and were like, well, that would be a good part if ever anybody made it. So yeah, I was interested in it from the moment I read it, and actively chasing it for 4 or 5 years.
Was this a case that you had to audition for it, given that it was quite a popular thing, or was it quite an easy way? Because you said, it's something that you went after. Did it take a bit of time to get to the point where they were like, yes, we want you? Or
I don't know. It sounds a bit kind of. It wasn't a situation whereby, luckily, the people who were in charge of deciding who was going to play Barrington, for whatever reason, had me at the top or close to the top of their list. So actually, ultimately, in the end, I don't know if it was because they knew I was keen on it, or just by happenstance, they thought the right person for the job was me. But it was something I I was offered, and before they'd even finished offering it, I said yes.
One of those jobs.
One of those jobs. They're very rare, but when they come along, you've got to take them and enjoy them.
Yeah. One of the things I loved about this character is his exuberance, but also his kind of his obviously, I say truth into, obviously there's stuff going on I don't want to spoil for people, but in terms of him as a person, he's his exuberance, he is himself. When you're playing someone that has that kind of power to them, if you like, where they present themselves as they are and they want to try and be as truthful as they can to that kind of stuff. For you as an actor, what's the challenge in doing something like that? What's the challenge in playing this character in this series?
Being true to all of the complexities
Mm.
of who he is. So one of the ways I put my characters together is writing down all the facts about them, how old they are, where they work, how long they've been married, how many kids they have, the job they do, the siblings they have, what they say about themselves, what other characters say about them, and then I have a blueprint of what I need to be true, or what I need to be using to hide something else. Is he gregarious because he's actually a really shy guy, and then you can pin it all together and you've got a character. With Barrington, those things that you can pin are really complicated, really contradictory, and really dynamic. He has a big secret, but he's not a secretive man. Not least that one of the main participants in his secret is in his house every single day, and he's a man who is hiding a large part of himself, but he is one of the most well-known characters in his community. He's a guy that when he walks down the street, everybody says hello to him. So he's kind of hiding in plain sight. So stitching all of those things together is the effort it took to put Barry together. And the glorious thing about him were those things were complicated and required effort and well, as I say it required that when I went to work, I had to go to work. And characters that do that to you are few and far between, and I fucking love playing it. Every minute I got, not least by because of what I got to wear, but just putting this fella on was just a huge amount of fun.
Yeah, it's a great celebration of culture as well, like you say, culture and community. I mean, this culture is so infectious, and like the community and way people are around each other, and it's the people and the music and the food and the history and all that kind of stuff. What's it like for you guys as an ensemble to help celebrate that in terms of bringing all that into the screen?
It was a celebration.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about it in the scripts, as in the book, it's not there as artifice. It's not there as just something that's kind of like David Attenborough is in the corner going, this is what they eat, and this is where they celebrate, and this is what this is. It was all in keeping in creating this family, in creating this community, in recognizing their experience both here and back home in the West Indies, but showing who they were. If it wasn't all in the service of the story, if it wasn't all in the service of the characters, if it wasn't all in the service of their relationships, then it would be useless and of no thing. So it was lovely. It was lovely walking into the front room of the Walker's house and seeing the white Jesus on the wall and going, that's absolutely what would be in this room of this house for this generation of people, and the little touches like that the camera might see or might not see, but it was of great use to us because it made us feel like this place represents us, this place is real, and showing middle class Black British life, which you don't often see amongst that generation. You see second and third generation middle class Black folk, but first generation who have made a decent living and a decent life is few and far between, and a love story told primarily amongst the people in their mid-70s and Black folk in their mid-70s is even rarer. So it was a joy.
Well, I've interviewed Keenan a couple of times, and I was lucky enough to work on Black Dog to do some production notes for that film. And I met him. Obviously, he's a young man, but he's got this extraordinary acting ability for someone as young as he is, and he does an amazing job as the young version of you. Did you see his performance, and was it important for those two to kind of be separate, given there is quite a distance in time? Did you chat about it, or was it important for you guys to just be like, no, you're at this age, I'm at this age?
Our paths didn't always kind of cross because quite a lot of their shooting, give or take a few moments, like he was on set with me when we did the car scene at the end of the first episode, and there's a moment where later on where they're in both he and young Morris are in the a bedroom scene with us, but a lot of their shooting happened both in Antigua and when I wasn't on set. So we didn't. We talked, but we didn't overlap a huge amount because it was kind of separate time. But seeing him in the show and looking up his other stuff, he's fantastic. Yeah. We were lucky to get him.
Yeah. Well, it's quite fortunate I'm talking to you now. Obviously, you got the show coming out, but you just had your big debut of your Joshua Oppenheimer film, which loads of people are very excited about. The End, I think it's called, which is a musical. I think it's a musical.
It is.
Everything.
It's a musical set in a billionaire's bunker 25 years after the end of the world.
So you have lots of strings to your bows, whether it's working with Guy Ritchie and Snatch back in the day and doing Walking Dead and everything else in between. And now was the musical on the bucket list kind of tick off, particularly with this cast and this director?
It's an amazing cast, and doing a musical is on my list. Although I do have to say that I do very, very little singing in this particular musical. So in order to reveal whatever singing chops I might have to do a second musical.
Before my time runs out, I have to ask you the important question, of course. Barrington, which if he supports a football team, which football team is he going to support? Of course, I put it out just for you. You see,
I saw it there in the background. I nearly interrupted myself. That's why my head went to the side just for a second. I saw it there, but yeah, luckily I don't know what to do when I'm in situations where my character has to support outwardly, verbally has to support a football team I don't support, particularly if it's the other North London team. I think I might have to say no to the job.
Yeah. Has that happened any time before? Because I know there are actors who have said, I had to, especially in America, like I support the Red Sox, but then my character does this, and it irked me.
It's really tough. I think there was one point where the writer was a big West Ham fan and wanted the character to be a big West Ham fan, and it took a while. It took a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.